This is Adam from Beyond Medicine, and today I'd like to talk about the golden spiral. Um, because I've seen a lot of utility for it in a range of different situations. And I thought I'd just bring this to everyone's attention so they kind of understand how to use it or when to use it or what its purpose is. So now the golden spiral is made by passing light through a sculpture of the golden spiral into water. I then capture that and amplify it. So it's a very strong version of the perfect ratio of existence. Now we see this ratio in everything from sunflowers to stars to the shape of, or the dimensions of the womb, even the dimensions of the ear. And they say that faces are more perfect the closer they are to the golden ratio, the more we perceive them as beautiful. Similarly with architecture that's done on the golden mean or the golden ratio is perceived to be more pleasing to the eye. So since this is the natural ratio that everything is built on, I mean, we see it in seashells extensively, we see it in mosses and ferns and trees, and in most structures in the body, even in the ratio of the hand, we see the golden ratio at play. So what we're doing when we're taking a dose of the golden ratio is we're actually just telling our body to come back into a state of alignment with itself, in alignment with its more perfected state. So this is really what it can be used for. Now, I just want to break it down a bit in terms of like what this might look like in practice. So for example, we Beyond Medicine has a cream called Pashmina, Immortal Skin Pashmina, and it's been, used in states of acne where, obviously the skin's out of balance. It's not in its perfect expression because of hormonal fluctuations due to puberty. And it's shown remarkable results in actually regenerating the skin, and also just stop excess production of oils, of whatever chemicals are causing the imbalance. Now, for myself, when I take the golden ratio, I find that a lot of my postural abnormalities get created. Now, I'm quite tall, so I've slouched a fair amount of my life. It's like I own that. But this is a way of bringing me back into an easy expression, because I find that when I have a guy who works on me, he does body work, and he was saying, oh, stand like this or do this, or pull your chest in or do this. And it's often hard for me to even reference that. Like, what does this actually mean? How do I do this? Or I never know what the state should be, because I don't know what the blueprint should look like. So I'm trying to return it to an idea of a blueprint, but I don't know what the blueprint is. So I'm kind of guessing, and maybe I'm doing it wrong, pushing my, shoulders too far forward, or my hips too far back, or swaying. It's hard to know exactly what to do, or what way you should actually be, unless you sort of have very good kinetic sense of who you are. But with this, it kind of just returns things. It returns things to the right state, and then we're operating on this golden mean. So it's just the body return to your original perfect blueprint of how you should express yourself, which is obviously known in the cells and expressed by the cells. And then these things just kind of correct themselves by themselves. Now, that's a physical example. The skin's obviously a very physical example. But when we look at more existential examples, like certain areas of your life might be out of balance. There might be too much or too little, or you're pushing too hard or not pushing hard enough, or the idea behind the golden ratio is it's the perfect ratio. It doesn't try, it's just effortlessly perfect. And if we can return ourselves to that state, then we can actually say to ourselves, well, I'm now operating on this perfect, expression of existence, this perfect ratio. And in that, everything will get done in its own time. So that's obviously very valuable for us, because we get to, effortlessly return ourselves to a state of more perfect expression of ourselves. Now, whatever we're doing, I don't think anyone's going to say no to that, because it just means your life becomes easier. How much you need to take and when you need to take the golden spiral, well, it really depends on where you are in your life, what you need. I think in the beginning, when one first gets it, it's useful to take it for a good 2-3 weeks, just to to set this imprint in the cells of like, okay, this is how things should be. When things are like this, then things are not out of balance. Disease is often when things are out of balance. Hormonal systems are out of balance, or organs are functioning too little or too much, or producing too little or too much, or anything. Cancers, the cells are getting out of control. So if we return things to the state of original balance, most of the problems will probably disappear. Obviously, if you've been way out of balance for a long, long time, it's going to take longer. But what we're doing here is we're literally retraining the body with this golden spiral, which is our own perfect expression of form, which is expressed in all our cells, and returning it to that. And in that, like if we were to compare ourselves to a car, and certain things, when our brakes are worn, the car will shudder. But if everything is returned to its proper state and replaced, then everything runs smoothly. Obviously, if the wheels are out of alignment, we'll tend to pull to the left. But if we're saying return the alignment to a more proper space, a space which is the way it should be, it was designed to be in the first place, then everything's going to function a lot better. And this is obviously going to be good for everyone, whether this is relationships or physical stuff happening in your body in terms of proper functioning of organ systems, or thoughts. I know when I need the golden spiral when I'm rushing, or I'm using too much tension. It's like I'm not in alignment. If I was in alignment, if I was Zen, that's what they talk about, that feeling of being Zen with it, so where everything is just right and you're just moving with the flow of it, because you are the expression of the totality of existence and everything is just perfect. That's what we want to get back to. And that's what this is amazing to help us with, just to kind of remind ourselves on a cellular level that this is how we should be expressing ourselves. Now, all the beyond medicine remedies are just programmed water, where we're telling the water, I'm telling the water a certain thing, and I'm amplifying that frequency, and then I'm giving it back to everyone else. So, but it's, as you program the body with the right frequencies, the frequencies that was built with in the first place, we don't have to try too hard to fix anything, because that is a large part of the fixing of everything. It's just really returning everything back to its original state. So I see a wide variety of applications for golden spiral. And I mean, you could argue that even, states of disease are states where if we return things to a state of balance, things will work correctly. So that could be useful then, children who are out of whack, times of transition, teenagers are going from one state to another. So they're in a state of transition, but if we can remind them on a cellular level that what they're feeling is normal and natural, and that they just need to express it, obviously there's less dissonance, there's less unhappiness. So, I can't see a situation where this might not benefit people. Now, I'm not suggesting people are on it all the time, because really we just need to relearn this and remind ourselves of this, and every now and then come back and remind ourselves again that, like, things should be working smoothly and seamlessly, and if they're not, then something's out of balance. And the easiest way, instead of trying to figure out what's out of balance, is just to return ourselves to a state of balance, and then we'll automatically make the right decisions, do what needs to be done. So that's really the magic of golden spiral, is that it allows us to return to a space where things are expressed more perfectly. And as I said, there are very few situations which wouldn't be benefited by this. Now, obviously, this can be used in conjunction with any of the other remedies at any time. I think, if one takes a bottle of it, that's probably enough for that time to return you to that state of balance. It's enough to tell the body, and then to take it as you feel you need to, or you just take it every now and then when you feel slightly out of kilter. Those days when you wake up and it's like things are not quite right, and you can't figure out why or what, or target it, or was it a dream, or something you ate before, or like one of your interactions or relationships with people which are not kind of in alignment. But the thing is, if we return ourselves to the state of perfection and calm and effortless manifestation, then those things will tend to iron out anyway. We'll come to the situation where everything is smooth and it just feels right, and in that all errors are repaired, and like a lot of the errors might have even just crept in the first place because one wasn't feeling oneself and one was just behaving from a space where, it's a great word, gnarly, from a more gnarly space, right? Now, why you got nullified in the first place and felt like, but there are a million factors, and to track them down and to isolate them and to extract them is almost pointless. Whereas if we can just denullify ourselves, return us to the state of calm, then everything is going to proceed as it should. So this is what I'm suggesting with the golden spiral, to use it in conjunction with other remedies to bring us back into balance. Now, the two remedies that it's in, well, the Pashmina cream, obviously, and then the Immortality Lakshmi. So, I've kept it out of a lot of the other ones because one could argue it could go in everything, because it's nice to see when one's in alignment with everything, and then it's nice to see when one's out of alignment with everything. So the idea is like, well, when we're out of alignment, we have the chance to bring ourselves back into alignment. Putting in the cream was a calculated decision, because the skin is always being challenged by a whole range of things, so it always needs to be brought back into alignment, whether it's wind or sun or weather or cold. It all affects the skin, so we always need to have this message on our skin just to keep us in balance. So that's what I have to say today on the golden spiral. Please subscribe to this channel. I'll be doing more of these on a regular basis. I'm going to cover each of them, all of the remedies, and then I'm going to go into some therapeutic overlays, how they all play together, interchanges, what goes well with what, and when you can take what and what not to take, if there's certain things not to take with other things, and how other states might be affected by this. I mean, this is all the entire purpose of this Beyond Medicine system, is to really optimize our existence on every level so that we have the best end user experience of living as possible. Because let's face it, as kids, we got none of that. It's like, well, eat your vegetables, do your homework, go out and play with your friends. But there was no sense that we could actually modify and adapt the varying aspects which were causing us disease and suffering. And this is what this is about, just to bring us back to the fullest expression of who we are, so that we can really enjoy our lives. Adam, please subscribe. Bye.